Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dr. Mo here, taking over Before the Cut podcast. Going to be a great show, so enjoy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Before the Cut.
Reporting live from Palazzo.
From Palazzo, beautiful suite. And listen, to my right, to Evan's left, we have a special guest. This guy, bro, saving lives, bro. Daily, weekly.
We tried to.
Here with Dr. Mo, bro. Let's give it up real quick.
Thank you for having me out, man. You know,
Absolutely,
I love the
bro.
show, love the content, and of course, me and you got some history. So
Yeah. I've been taking. I mean, I literally cut your hair 2 days ago, and it looks like I didn't even touch you. It's crazy.
Persian jeans, man.
I was gonna say you did a shitty job, bro.
What do you right away? You know what it is, bro? Early on, we had this discussion. He thinks I messed up when I was lining up his beard, and he hasn't let it go since.
Actually, not even my barber anymore.
Yeah, bro, he fired me.
Fired, bro. Yeah.
You know with who?
Yeah.
With who?
Shout out to our boy Gio, the guy that used to be on the podcast, bro.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Hey, Gio, I love you, bro. It's okay.
Well, they say what? A man, I mean, when you switch your barber, that's a big deal because, like, men, they say men are loyal to their barber more than their woman.
Obviously
sometimes.
not.
I've
He
cheated
didn't
on
read
him
that
so
quote,
many
bro.
times.
He didn't read that quote.
How do you feel as a barber with that, though? Because I've been in a situation, like, especially, you know, when I've lived in certain cities.
Yeah.
And my barber's busy, so I'm like, I'll go to the other barber, and you're like, oh, this dude cuts a little bit
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
And then you set up an appointment with the new barber, but then you go in and you see the old barber. Like, does that make, like, as a barber, how does that feel when you see?
Look, if we worked at the same shop, I think it'd be a little bit. But that's my bro. That's my bro.
okay, that's a good.
I'm super
mature
loud
way to
about
do
it too. I literally will post a picture with Gio cutting my hair, and I'll be like, "Yo, I'm cheating on my barber,"
And he
and
tags
then
me,
I'll
He'll tag you
add
in
him.
the picture.
Yeah,
Oh, that's dope,
Yeah.
man.
And then,
That's love.
to make it worse, bro, they go out to eat after.
yeah.
You know
It's
what else
invitation.
he's gonna
Yeah.
text?
And don't invite him.
Have you ever taken him out to eat after when he cut your hair?
Yeah, McDonald's.
McDonald's.
I ain't shit. I guess I ain't shit, bro.
Bro, look how
Look
big
what
this
you got.
dude is. I
You got
can't
a good
afford to
menu.
take him out to dinner.
Bro, I'm on. Hey,
he fucking
this
orders
is
the
week
left side of
2.
the menu.
I'm on a diet, bro. You see my water, Doc? You see my water?
I do see the water,
Yeah.
man. I see
I'm
the
burning
clips on
calories sitting in this hot
Instagram.
ass room, bro. I'll let you introduce this one, bro.
Gunna is
Ooh,
a
okay.
snitch.
I take it back. See, because you're gonna start with some bullshit. You're gonna start with some bullshit, bro.
Gunna snitched. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me explain myself a little bit here.
Because you just made a false statement, but go ahead.
Okay. So first and foremost, I just want to say this term snitching, and we've talked about this obviously multiple times. 6ix9ine, for example. Okay. Everyone calls him, Snitch 9.
Right.
You know, people need to give the same energy that they gave 6ix9ine
For you, it's consistency.
to Gunna.
It's the consistency.
Okay. And here's the thing. If you actually look at, and I don't want to even talk on the 6ix9ine thing much, but I just want to do two side by side comparisons real quick. Okay. Like snitching is essentially, turning your back to your people, right? Your family, your close friends, a gang. You're basically cutting a deal, so you don't got to go to prison, and you're ratting out your people. You're throwing your people.
So that's the definition.
Under
the first thing you got to do.
That's his definition.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna talk
Because
about
the first thing you have to
Okay.
do is define what snitching is, and then I can tell you, if it's snitching or not.
So at the beginning of that, when I define snitching, I say your friends, your family, your people, right?
So you can tell on your ops, right? That's what the kids are saying, the ops, right?
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah,
cool.
we say that shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
You cool kids.
So
the ops.
okay, so like 6ix9ine situation, for example, these people that he snitched on, okay?
Right.
Number 1, robbed him. Number 2, kidnapped him. Number 3,
bro. Stop the
stole
cap.
from him. And number 4, fucked his girl.
Okay.
Would you go to prison for 45 years to keep street code and not snitch for people that were straight up disrespectful to you,
Right.
did all this stuff to you? That's not snitching. That's taking care of yourself. So now you go to the Gunna situation. Young Thug is like his brother. Okay? And now Young Thug is locked up still. Okay?
Right.
Gunna got out last week. Basically, miraculously got said he served a year, which he didn't even serve a year. He served like 5 months. They count it as a year, so
Right, time
five
served.
months now equals, I guess, a year. He's obviously takes a short sentence, takes a plea deal. It's very obvious what he said on the stand. It's been all over social media. I think he snitched.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Well, you and I, okay. 'Cause I'm looking at you like, I know you smelling the bullshit just like I am, bro.
Hey, don't put me.
No.
I'm listening. So what I would say to that is, okay.
I'll tell you shit apart and go ahead.
So going back to your original question is, if I was 6ix9ine, what would I do?
Yep.
I would absolutely, you know what I would do? I would do absolutely what he did. Do you know what I feel he did?
What?
He snitched. but admittingly, I would snitch on them.
Okay, so you think it's snitching?
Do you
it's snitching?
Do you even think those two are remotely the same?
They have similarities. They're not the same exact situation, obviously, but they got similarities for sure because it's the concept of snitching, right? But I think in one situation you have someone where this is more or less not a question of who snitched and what is snitching, at least is how I understand it. This is more of who had a good reason to snitch and who did it, right? Like, if anyone had a good reason to snitch.
I thought it was on the same side.
Yeah, like, listen, I'm like you. It's like, okay, so I got these people that because I'm playing devil's advocate here, right?
Yeah.
I'm 6ix9ine. I got these people. I'm making a lot of money. I'm putting them on. I'm helping them get money, right? They're gaining influence and meeting certain people because of me, right?
Yep.
And when it's said and done, this is what I know. They may or may not have had sex with my baby mama, right? I know they robbed me, or at least people part of the organization robbed me, and then I feel like he said they were stealing money.
Yep.
And now we catch a RICO case. I've already cut ties with them because of what they were basically they're basically playing me. Do I want to spend time in jail over people that have already tried to play me, right? I know me personally, I wouldn't. But I would snitch on them.
Yeah.
But I'm not a gangster. And if I was a gangster, I probably still would snitch on them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if you ain't my friend, then I have no allegiance towards you. But I'm not going to pretend like it's not snitching though. In my opinion, it is snitching. Just in my the way I look at it is like I'm not gonna honor code among people that try to take from me.
Bro,
but honoring code for people that would not reciprocate that for you. Like,
right.
They would not give that same.
I hate that statement because they were. 6ix9ine was like, yeah, I'm blood. These guys are my blood. Like, every music video, those guys were affiliated. So you're giving me this protection. You're basically giving me the key to be like, no, I can jock this, and no one's gonna press me because I got Shotty and I got
for sure.
I got all these people.
I get what you're saying.
So it's like So it was all convenient to you until it wasn't, and then it's like, bro.
Right, and that is why I would say the problem with that situation is 6ix9ine even got himself in that situation. I wouldn't even got myself in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, it was a situation he shouldn't have even been in, to be honest with you. But now that you're in that situation and now you get hit with a RICO, what do? Are you going to sacrifice your life for a bunch of people that towards the end that maybe things in the beginning were good, maybe you were giving me protection, I could puff my chest out a little bit and do what I need to do to get my street cred going, But regardless of that, towards the end, you try to take my money, you try to extort me. Again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't know if this is what really happened, but this is what he's saying. You mess with my baby mama. Dare I say there's even, I'm pretty sure the feds played it for him. Remember there's that clip they were talking about trying to violate him? So now you probably threatening my life.
Yeah.
Like, do I owe you any type of loyalty after that? In my opinion, no. But I'm not gonna pretend it's not snitching. If you want to call me a snitch, I'll be like, yeah, I snitch. But we gotta also get rid of this narrative that just because you snitch, you ain't a gangster.
Yeah.
Henry Hill, Goodfellas, he was a gangster. Sammy the Bull, got more bodies than all of us put together.
Yeah.
He was a gangster and he snitched, right?
Yeah.
And I know I wouldn't go to Sammy the Bull and call him a snitch.
Yeah.
So you can still be a gangster and still snitch. I'm not saying 6ix9ine.
I personally just hate I just hate the term. I think.
The term is dumb. I agree.
Yeah, like I think it's just the term, and I think it's thrown out there a lot. It's such a. I think like you could look at snitching so many different ways, and I think that's why it's such a heated topic, right?
No, Gunna did snitch though.
Yeah.
He snitched. That dude snitched.
What's going on, bro?
He snitched.
What happened? Is that second drink got you all
It
messed
might
up?
be, but okay.
No, okay, but hold on. So
back to Gunna, right?
Yeah, back to Gunna.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Look, I love Gunna, bro. I love him. I'm still gonna listen to him.
Yeah, good music.
I ain't no gangster, bro.
Hey man, I still
don't let this red fool you.
For sure.
I'm not slime season. No, here's the thing. What I don't like about that is comparing it to, because nobody compared it to 6ix9ine. So 6ix9ine was like, see, this is why you got to be okay with me. No, we just don't like you. because of the bullshit you be doing.
Right.
We just don't like you. I don't give a fuck if it's copy paste. Fuck you. We don't like you. A majority of hip. I don't like 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Gummo, banger. That shit's a banger. I like Gummo. You know, but with Gunna, bro, it's interesting because, you know, Young Thug he went on Big Boy and he said, bro, Gunna's my brother. He's like he was hanging around me before he was around me for 6 years before he even told me he rapped. I signed him. I haven't collected $1 from him. Yeah, that's his bro. So I'm gonna be honest. To say YSL's, they're trying to pin that YSL's a gang on him, right? And you're like, no, it's a gang. That's fucked up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Look at, you know, the detail, the paperwork. There's like a workaround, which I think Gunna understands. He can go to the stand if they do come to testify, and also the idea is that no one's gonna take this to trial.
Right. So are they expecting Young Thug to cop a plea then?
I think that's the idea, because if you go to trial, you're gonna you can either cop a plea or you can try to fight this and you might get 50 years. You tell me what you're gonna do.
For sure.
So I think the idea was presented to Gunna like, hey, this is probably not gonna happen. You can get out right now. No one's ever gonna make it to that. So where you have to take the stand, you know. And I don't know, like. I think what a lot of people say is they want to see him on the stand, you know, like the little sketch drawing. Yeah. No, he's like, can you point out Jeffrey Williams, the guy of Slime, and it's going to be like this. I don't think he was ever going to get to that point, but I mean, I'm going to die on this hill and say he ain't snitched, bro.
Okay. Okay.
Bro, the whole crew.
He conspired to. I don't think he
the whole crew is taking deals, bro. There's been like
as
what,
soon as he 5 took that deal, there's been more that take deals.
He went first, bro, and there was like four members right after him that all grabbed deals as well.
So let me ask you then, because so Chewy, you gave your opinion on how you feel about it. So let's say I'm Gunna, you're Young Thug. I come up there, I cop my plea, and your defense is your federal defense. Excuse me, because I think Young Thug has a federal case, right?
Yeah.
I have a state case, so maybe that makes just change a bit. One of the key components to your case is YSL is a record label. It's a business. It's not a gang. So you're Young Thug. I'm your brother. You know, Gunna. I cop a plea. You find out I cop a plea with the state case, and I basically admit that no, YSL is a gang. It's not a record label. I admit that it was a gang, and it may have been involved in criminal. Well, it is involved in criminal activity, including murder.
I don't like where you're going with this.
Okay. Yeah. And now your lawyer comes up to him and be like, "Hey, you know your brother, you know Mo, you know Gunna.
Yeah.
He just copped a plea. He's copped a state plea. Oh, cool. What did he do? Well, he basically admitted that YSL is a gang and then was involved in some criminal activity. And you remember that situation where you guys were in the car and you said,
keep drinking.
Right.
Keep drinking, Chewy.
Yeah. I can see it played out like that, right? His lawyer told that. But no, for real. Then your lawyer's like, and then you remember that situation where you guys were in the car and there was some drugs and a gun involved? He said it wasn't his. He didn't point it on you, but say how would that make you feel if you were Thug?
I plead the fifth, just like Gunna was. No, I'd be mad, bro. Of course, I'd be mad.
Well, why would you be mad? And I'm not even saying, because maybe you say, oh, I wouldn't be worried because, you know, maybe me and Gunna had a conversation before and he doesn't feel like this is going to hurt my case and my lawyer agrees. I don't know.
I don't think they can talk, though. And the other reason why I think not, because, for example, Roddy Rebel and what's his name? Bobby.
Bobby, right.
Bobby was going to get 7 years, or no, 12 years. Or no, Roddy was going to get 12. Bobby was going to get something. He's like, listen, bro, I'll take 7, you take 7. I was only going to get 5. We'll do it. I think something like that would have came out, bro.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
So he cut out early before any deals were on the table.
So going back, looking at this comparison.
I'm not answering this.
Gunna basically throws his brother under the bus. Meanwhile, 6ix9ine.
Meanwhile, the whole time I thought you and I were on the same page.
Meanwhile, 6ix9ine through some people who stole, robbed, and fucked his girl.
Right.
We just don't like 6ix9ine, bro. We just don't like 6ixnine.
Yeah, I think a lot of the
we just don't like 6ixnine.
To me, it's the principle.
So I agree. I do agree with that.
It's literally the principle of like taking like respect and loyalty to your people versus respect and loyal to people that are not respectful and loyal to you.
Yeah, and
you know,
right? And we play favorites, right? Like you said, people just don't like 6ix9ine, and I would say that's because 6ix9ine.
That's valid, though, right?
Right. Well, 6ix9ine purposely played the villain. Yeah. Right. Which I can respect. I always root for the villains in the movies. That's just me. But most people watch movies to watch the villain lose, right? Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that the villain is losing and people are okay with that. Yeah. Gunna never really portrayed himself as a villain, and I think that's where the whole play favorites and you know, again, you could call this episode consequences. That's where the consequences come in. If you want to play the villain, you know what comes with that. So if it's in your downfall, people are going to be happy. It's like Floyd Mayweather made a career out of that, playing the villain. He just never lost. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If Floyd Mayweather loses, please believe everyone's going to be cheering for that. They just never saw it. Yeah. You know, that comes with being the villain. You get the headlines, but when it ain't looking so good, people are going to come for you. You know?
Here's my thing. Like, I would have done the same thing as Gunna. Like, end of the day, like, I'm not spending years and years in prison for actions that I did not do.
Joey, if it was me, I'm telling on you. I just met you. Yeah. I'm telling on you.
Yeah.
I know you for a year. I'm telling on you. I'll tell you how to spell his name. If you want me to draw a sketch, I will draw a sketch. Yeah. I'm telling on all of y'all. Because I'm not built for that life. And,
everyone needs to be responsible for their own actions.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
And again, just because you snitched don't mean you ain't no gangster.
Yeah.
Like, people think, oh, he a snitch, he a chump.
Such an interesting take. Bro.
Right. I mean, the mob was taking down on snitches, right? You go tell one of the mobster dudes they ain't no gangster. Like, so we gotta take care of that narrative. Yeah. So, you know.
But look, bro, at the end of the day, Gunna ain't snitch, and I think Tory didn't shoot Megan.
Yep.
All right. We will see. A lot of these are gonna get wrapped up very soon. They say so. It's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out. But
I don't know.
Funny in social media times.
We'll have to do a recap to this episode.
Man.
And all these cases
next trip out here.
That would be wild.
That brings me into one of our next topics. We have a man child on our hands down in Texas. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
A 12-year-old kid. Apparently, he's 12 years old, right?
12 years old.
Got a full blown mustache going on.
Looks like Dr. Mo.
Got a half sleeve. And he's just bulldozing over kids on the football field. Y'all see that?
Yeah, it is like
there's no way. I need a DNA test, bro.
Yeah.
Let me see some ID.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Bro, what's crazy, his tattoos are nicer than mine.
Right, we were joking around like, yo, this dude bought me a drink yesterday at the bar. Now he's over there trucking with my kid during football.
He's doing the little shooters because he's hung over before the game.
Yeah.
This shit made no sense, bro.
I don't know. I'm sure there's a process they can go to authenticate his actual age, but he certainly does not look like a normal 12-year-old.
But I do think that he is 12, bro. I mean, because
they literally already like saying like future NFL player. Like they're already
12, man.
Bro, The Rock was 15 and he looked 40.
Yeah, The Rock was a big boy.
Genetic freaks out there, bro.
Yeah.
I know someone who's 6'7", bro. He was 6'7". He was like 6'5" in 8th grade. Bro.
So you believe he's really 12?
Like, I mean, look, bro.
Okay, let me
he's got wrinkles, bro.
But you got a kid. So if your kid is playing against someone that age, that size, what do you do as a father?
He ain't playing.
You ain't playing? He just runs over your kid. Like, do you like say, hey, yo, man, you
have to come see me, bro.
Yeah, right. Like, you a grown man. You look like a grown man.
Yeah.
Pick on someone your own size.
Is on the top 99% of the percentile for height, weight. He's gonna be huge. He's gonna be like 6'3" too. Bro, he got a little
stubble.
No, yeah, I mean that's crazy, bro. Like, I mean, obviously, like if
he literally looks like a beardless Chewy.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I mean, would he even get carded? Like, if he went to a liquor store, would that dude get carded?
Hell no, bro.
Hell no.
I don't know. Like, oh, okay, the usual.
Dude looks old as dirt.
That is crazy, and right now there's a spotlight on him. If he is 12, I do hope he gets the proper guidance. Because let's be honest, bro. If you're 12 and you got a tattoo, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's
who's
I don't know how the laws are. We were always under the impression because my first tattoo was at 18. I mean, don't get me wrong. Those days, you go to anybody's trailer and get tatted by whatever.
Yeah, I know people.
But usually it was like 18 and older was sort of the
unless you get a parent to sign, you know what I mean. But again, if your parent is signing, like I don't know. I don't know anything about this child's background.
So when did he get that tattoo?
That's what I'm saying.
Hey,
is it new?
Hey, Billy, for your 9th birthday, you're getting a half sleeve.
So I hope that he gets somebody reaches out to him. Bro.
Yeah.
He gets because if he's 12 and he's like that, bro.
Yeah.
He can probably skip college and go play and really change the dynamic of his family.
Well, and I don't know if this pertains to this particular situation as far as this kid, because maybe he really is 12. But I do remember when I was in middle school, I was playing football in 7th grade, and our running back, like this dude he was just beyond freakishly athletic. Like he was hurling, he could do backflips, he could dunk a ball. Like, this dude was genetically just talented.
Yeah.
And come to find out, he was like 3 years older than everybody.
For real?
He shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been playing. So that did come out later, and we lost all our wins. Because he was just so good. We're like, man, what kid is doing this in 7th grade?
I will say though, bro,
backflips and dunk the ball.
Yeah.
So
I will say I coached football when I was.
Wouldn't be the first time. Is all I'm saying.
I agree. I did coach football, bro, from when I was 19 to 20, and there was kids there that had full, like, bro, I'm talking like beards like yours.
Yeah.
And I got a little goat thing right here, and you can see like just some kids, bro, like, you know, are obviously, you know, they're just bigger, they're stronger, bro, they're veiny, they're fast as fuck, and the other kids you can tell still got a baby face. Like there's
testosterone is in them.
I don't know how to say that.
Got to get more of that. McDonald's,
You know what I
they
mean?
probably inject something in those foods.
Yeah.
So I can see that, but this dude, bro, I don't know. Listen, I hope.
Watch, it's gonna come out. He's like 35, and he's just playing the whole school.
So another story that I saw about kids, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think. I'm the only one that's you don't have any kids, right?
I know about.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in Jamaica and Turkey a few times.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm the only one as a kid right here, but I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts, just as men, right? Eventually, you'll be a dad.
Sure.
Yeah, you coming? He's gonna be a dad quick.
Oh man.
No, but listen. So I saw this story. Megan Fox, she has 3 kids. Oldest one is 9 years old. You know, her relationship is very public. They do her and Machine Gun Kelly. You know, they're wild, bro. They have an interesting relationship. Yeah. They're like, you know, I don't care, don't judge me. Like, it's really cool.
Love and rock and roll. Yeah.
They remind me of it's like the 2022 version of like Pam and Tommy. Like,
I can see that. It's like
that's what they remind me of.
That classic rock and roll type relationship, like the Courtney Love and the Kurt Cobain. You know, like I forget who it was. The supermodel that was with Axl Rose back in the day. I forget who it was, but it reminds me of that.
Yeah.
It's very out there. Headline comes out. Her son, he's 9 years old. Obviously, we can't use his name. Is getting bullied at school because he's wearing dresses. Right?
Because he's wearing dresses.
He's wearing dresses. Like,
okay.
But she's with Machine Gun Kelly, superstar, megastar, bro, selling out shit left and right.
Yep.
Her son is probably looking up like, oh, the coolest guy in my eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, maybe not. They're not married, right?
I don't believe so.
But like the person, well, whatever. Let's assume.
Yeah, don't quote me.
The person that's with my mom is people love him. He's wearing dresses. He's got those crazy long nails. Why is it weird if I do it?
Yep.
Right. So I saw this and I was like, ain't no fucking way. I'm very open. Do whatever you want. You know, I love you. I'll always love you. But I don't know. It's just one of these things that you always kind of hear whispered is like, hey man, just leave the kids out of it. You know what I mean? Like don't try to influence them. Let them come about their influence. Let them hear about this and take it in when it's appropriate for them too. You know, like a lot of this conversation happens like in school, like they're teaching LGBT stuff at school, and it's just like, yo, what's going on? You know what I mean? So
King's not wearing a dress to school tomorrow?
King it's actually pajama day tomorrow.
Pajama
but
day,
it would not be a dress. It would not be a dress. Okay. So I'm curious to, you guys' thoughts. Well, all of us have different backgrounds growing up.
Right.
Ages.
And, I don't have any kids, so what I'm saying is not coming with experience of raising my kids. I'm sure my opinion would change if I had kids, but I think we can all agree as adults here is that wearing a dress as a male is not the norm. And so, right, at least not yet, right?
Yep.
Whenever you do anything that's outside the norm, and maybe this is a learning point for your child, right? You'd say, if you want to wear a dress and it's not illegal to wear a dress and your school allows you to wear a dress, you're entitled to wear a dress. You're not breaking laws. But understand that you're doing something that's not accepted as the norm. Certainly at your school, when you're doing something that's not accepted as the norm and is not looked upon as that, then don't be surprised when you get certain ridicule or certain opposition and certain comments. That's life. I think there's a life lesson you can learn from this. So do what you want to do what makes you happy, but understand with your decision that when you're acting abstract or you're being distinct, right? Because I'm sure if you ask most people when they wear a dress, especially in the celebrity field, it's to draw a crowd and
attention. You want
attention, right? But there's good attention and bad attention that comes with that. So if someone wants to do that, regardless of their age, when it's not the norm, you gotta expect that.
Look, like I wonder if they had the conversation like, hey, you're gonna be the only one
Yeah.
Or were they just like, yeah, go ahead, like take one out of my closet.
Right.
Like me personally,
that's a good question, yeah.
it's very much similar to your statement. Like, I want my kid to be able to dress, act, do whatever the hell he wants.
Okay.
But I think it's like you said, as a parent, you got to, number one, let that kid know that, like, hey, there's going to be a cost to you doing this. Right. That's number one. And you know, if they're obviously making bold decisions like that, they need to understand that, like, with those bold decisions, there's going to be some heat that comes along with it.
Yeah, for sure. That's part of being that's part of growing and learning and being an adult. Eventually, you're going to be an adult, and this comes with it. You're making an adult-like decision. Yeah. You know? So
it's like, you know, cool, like, wear the dress, whatever. You're going to get looked at. People are going to say stuff to you. And I think then you as a parent, I feel there's baggage that comes along with that too, where it's like, you know, hey, like, you know, you might get other parents starting to kind of talk about you a little bit.
I think for me, I would, this is speaking hypothetical. Obviously, I don't have any kids, but my first question would be, okay, why do you want to wear the dress? And then we can go from there. What is your reason? Because you're doing something that's, again, not the standard of how men are typically dressing. Okay, cool. What motivates you to want to do that? And then based on what they say is going to, because I still think what your child wears until they're 18 is still a decision that should be somewhat regulated by the parent. I don't care if you're in high school. Like, you're still in my house and I can regulate what you wear. So I'd be like, okay, cool. We're having a good discussion here. Let's have a dialect, not a diatribe, and let's talk about it. Why do you want to wear the dress? And then based on what you're telling me, we'll decide how we're going to handle that. Because if you're saying, well, I want to wear a dress because I saw so-and-so wearing a dress, that's not a good reason to do something. Just because I saw someone do it is not a good reason to do it. Yeah. So if that's what you're telling me, and I'm like, we're gonna have to dig a little bit deeper than that.
And here
because you're doing something that impacts not just you, like you said, when you're doing something like that publicly in school. Now you're kind of you're kind of making it an obligation for other parents to say, when their kid comes home, hey, I saw so and so with a dress, and now I'm thinking about wearing a dress. And if that goes against that household's belief, now they're kind of forced to maybe have a conversation. Who knows? Did they want to have a conversation at that early of an age? About gender identity and stuff like that. But you're kind of forcing other families to do, you know, that conversation.
Here's the crazy part. And as a young kid, you know, you look up to, like, these celebrities, right? Right. What the average kid doesn't understand, though, is majority of the time, like, MGK or anyone who, you know, outlandish outfits, right? Anyone who dresses like that, majority of the time, it's not even because they like it or they're like that's what they, you know, feel comfortable in. It's for headlines. So that's where it gets weird, right? It's like, damn, like.
But the person you're looking up is like, he's singing. He doesn't even say a word yet. He walks onto the stage, everybody's going crazy. Right. That's where I'm like, I do see like resistance from the child to the mom.
You know, I don't want to sound like I'm going on a crusade, but I will say this is that, you know, I was a big Tupac fan growing up. I was a big Ice Cube fan. I was a huge Kurt Cobain, Chris Cornell. But whenever we talk about celebrities, and I follow the Shade Room, so obviously I'm interested in this stuff because I live vicariously through the drama. Right? It's entertainment. It's the entertainment business. But just that word celebrity, those are people that we quote unquote celebrate. You know, celebrity, those who we celebrate, right? Yeah.
Is that what it means?
Celebrity, those you celebrate, I don't know. Stems from that. So I think we just got to do a better job of who we're going to decide to celebrate in your personal household. Like, if my kid came to me and told me their biggest hero was somebody that they've never met before, I'd have a conversation about that. You know, like, you don't know, you're celebrating someone you don't know. I know there is quote unquote celebrity, they're entertaining, there's certain qualities about them that you enjoy, that you like. But to imitate someone, that's such a big step as a person to do. Right. And you're imitating someone that you don't know. And you know, we're talking about just imitating the dressing and things like that. I would hope that when I have kids, that a quote unquote celebrity is not going to have that type of control over my kids.
Have you guys seen this video? It's a little kid in the car, and he's rapping to King Von. Little ass kid in the car seat, and he's holding up a little Lego. Yeah, like a Lego, but piece? Pointing it as a gun. And I remember seeing that. I'm like, yo, okay, it's kind of funny, but at the same time too, it's just like, you know, it goes exactly what it is. You're exposing, you know, younger kids to this. Like, I personally don't listen to that. I love that. I love Lil Durk. I love King Von.
For sure.
But I don't listen to that in front of my son because like for me, I know I'm listening, to that on the way to go cut a 60-year-old man's hair. You know what I mean?
There's a running joke that doctors, we listen to like trap music. You ever see that meme, like on my way to take care of lives, listen to music about,
for sure.
Yeah, it's just,
but because we
love trap music. It's hustle music.
We can, departmentalize.
You can separate, entertainment from life, right?
A kid will be like, the first time I listen to Lil Wayne, I'm like, oh, bro, I'm gonna get fucking 2 piercings right here. I'm gonna get a teardrop. I'm a gangster, bro. You know?
Sure. And that's why I think we gotta do a better job, in my opinion, especially in our community, being a black guy, is policing our kids and our society and our environments to, in my opinion, like, for instance, when I see rappers, especially these days, this is all pop entertainment music to me.
Yeah.
Like everything's become pop. Rap's become popular music, rock's popular music. That's how I look at it. It's all industry based, trying to make money. It's not really how it originated, but that's just when the machine gets a hold of it, that's what it becomes. And it is what it is. People's making money. But when you get to that point and when you accept it as that point, I start grouping it no different than an action movie. So if my kid listens to something and is trying to imitate it, I'm going to tell him, like, this is no different than watching, for me, the Terminator. Like, this is not real. Like, I would pretend to be the Terminator, but I never went to school trying to go be the Terminator on somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew how to separate fantasy from reality. Hip hop, for what it is now, at least with maybe a few exceptions, and most music these days and anything celebrity based is just entertainment. It's like you're watching a movie. So you should deal it with the same. Like, it's not really the people I'd want to imitate. If you want to do make believe, you want just like no different than when we pretended to be Power Rangers. And then be Lil Durk. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the way
on the way to work, I'm Lil Durk.
Yeah, exactly.
I call 4 bodies on the way to work.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Make believe.
Of course.
You can get your friends. You guys can run a block. You can have your own block. Exactly. So,
sure.
but it's entertainment. It's fantasy. It's make believe. When you start kind of trying to imitate it like it's real life, that's when I think it gets a little bit mucky.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I mean, me coming from Montana, like, I'll be honest, like, I couldn't imagine a kid in Montana showing up to school in a freaking dress.
Right.
Like that kid would get beat up on the playground. Right.
And I'm not even saying that would be the right thing. Right. Should the kid get beat up for wearing a dress? No, of course not. Am I surprised the kid got beat up for wearing a dress? Like, get beat up for wearing a dress. Am I surprised by that? No, I'm not surprised by that either. I'm not saying that it's right, but whenever you're doing something that's not the standard or is an exception to the rule, there's gonna be backlash that comes with it. Right.
And it's okay to go against the norm, but you need to understand that you are going against the grain on this specific choice that you're doing, which is wearing a dress.
And you gotta, even dare I say, sometimes work yourself in a position of power and influence where people aren't even gonna care. Like, so tattoos and medicine. I have tattoos, right? I have sleeves, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not so much now, but back in the day, that was a huge deal. Like professionalisms, doctors, tattoos, things like that. I did a podcast with a med school about that. It was like professionalism and tattoos, right? Mm-hmm. Now it's a little bit more accepted, but back in those days, I knew I was getting myself into. But I knew, like, okay, there's going to be a bigger spotlight on me. I'm going to have to perform a little bit better because I want this attention, right? It comes along with it. So it would be the same as me being surprised when certain people see my tattoos as a doctor in the medical field and then maybe having some sort of prejudice and stereotypes to it. I know it's not the norm, so I'm going to accept some sort of backlash. In most cases, it was actually good comments and remarks that I get, but there would be, a few little snidey remarks. Sure. And I wasn't surprised by that. I would just adapt and things like that. Now it's become a little bit more of the norm, or maybe even not that it's become the norm. I put myself in a situation where I'm kind of on that point of influence and prestige. Like, I'm a doctor, right? Like, I'm better of a doctor. Like, once you're a doctor, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not a med student anymore. So no one can really tell me anything because I put myself in that position where I can start maybe dictating or bending the rules a little bit. Yeah. As far as what's accepted as the norm and not the norm, things like that. Right? So.
No, that's interesting. So to wrap this up, my son is not wearing a fucking dress. Yeah. And if one day he wants to, we can have a conversation on,
Is there a good reason for your son? Is there a good reason your son could give you for wearing a dress? Would you be like, all right, cool, rock that dress?
You mean just, ballroom.
Ballroom? Like the occasion? If it's the occasion?
No, I mean, currently right now, no.
No?
Bro, you're going to go home and he's going to be in the kitchen in a fucking dress.
I ain't going to lie, this one day he did have an apron on. Like, he was helping my wife do something. I'm like, hey, take that shit off.
Oh, for real?
Take that shit off.
Oh, man.
I went to school.
Cap.
long enough to be a doctor.
Okay.
But I'm not a doctor. Definitely have a few college bills. Put in my fair share of time.
Those bills too, though.
But hey,
for sure.
Shout out to you, man, for getting it done.
Yeah, the government doesn't play, man, about their money. So you're gonna pay one way or the other. So yeah. I'm certainly making my payments for sure. They will come collect.
So how long have you been a doctor for?
Oh man, as an attending, so I finished residency in 2019. It's I guess 3 years coming on 4.
Okay, cool.
That's why time flies.
How long? You knew? You green?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
I don't trust you for shit.
I feel like a kid.
I was like a pilot. Like, yo, I just graduated. Yeah. Like, hell no.
Hopefully you'll tell the patient that. Right? Like, hey, you're my first, patient I've seen since residency. Yeah, that's how it goes.
So how long did you go to school for?
Oh man, I guess if you take into account residency, man, up until the age of, I'm 37 now, so 36, I came out.
Damn.
So wow. Yeah, obviously you do all the way to high school, then you do your bachelor's. That could be 4 to 5 years. For me, it was 4.5. It was a 5-year degree, but I did summer school. Then you do med school. Med school is at least 4 years, right? If you do a post-batch before med school, you had additional years. So for me, I did a post-batch program. So that was another 5 years, right? And then ER is 3 to 4 years, depending on where you go. So for me, that was 3 years. And so too much school,
Wait,
man.
so if you want to be a specific ER doctor, you got to do more?
Well, it's so every specialty, every field is a little bit different as far as the path. So you go to med school and you get a medical degree, right? Once you get
like the general?
Yeah, the medical MD, medical doctor, right?
Okay.
So once you get your MD, during that process, and this is the misconception a lot of people think. People feel like, oh, okay, I go to med school, I'm going to be a doctor, right?
Yeah,
I'm going to be able to come out, become a doctor, be able to pay my loans back. That's not true. When you're in med school and you're towards your last 2 years, you decide what you want, what kind of doctor you want to be, and then you apply to those residency programs. And then those residency programs have to not only invite you for the interview, but then when you go to the interview, they have to like you enough after the interview where they want to give you an opening.
Oh my God.
So there's still a chance, like, you can go on interviews and you not get a residency spot. So what happens? Now you have an MD, but you're not you can't practice medicine because you didn't go through residency, you didn't finish the process. Yeah, right. And then what? You still got to pay back those loans, and then you got to decide: do I want to be an instructor? Do I want to try to reapply for the match? But unfortunately, it's sad to say this, but it's kind of like a car. Like you're a car, right? That has 1 year of mileage on you, and there's a new med student coming out of med school, right?
Yeah.
That's fresh out of med school. Do I take a chance on this guy that's 1 year out of med school, or do I take the student that's fresh out of med school with no mileage, right?
Hey, if you're in med school, just drop out.
Yep.
Nah, pick something else.
No, don't do that.
Fucking way.
No, don't do that. It's just it's a lot of work, but if you're good at it and you have the discipline, integrity to do it, it's worth it. Just make sure you know just make sure you know you want to do it.
So I'm curious. I'm sure you have probably a lot of stories, but what is like the wildest shit you think you've seen?
And I've seen so much wild stuff though, because I did ER rotations in Chicago. I practiced in New Jersey. I did some rotations in the Bronx. I did 2 months, shock trauma in Baltimore, which that's a wild place. That's a wild city. Yeah. So usually I answer that question with a question. It's well, give me something that you think is wild. I'll tell you if I've seen it.
I have one right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was when I was in Chicago. I was an ER doctor. And he showed us pictures of like stuff that they have extracted from people's booty holes, bro.
Right, that's a common thing. So that's why I'm glad I asked you a question. What do you think is wild? Because that's like, oh yeah, just happens.
I know they
come up with stuff in the booty holes. Yeah. We most recent one was someone came in and had I think it was used for vaginal intercourse, but they tried to use it for anal intercourse, and I guess there's a difference. I guess I don't think this was built for that. They used it for rectal intercourse, and it came in. Apparently, it was a vibrator, got sucked in. And so you come in, you're like, hey, I got this thing. They tell you what happens, and you do an X-ray to confirm, and you see it on there, and then you got to go in there and take it out.
Yeah.
That was actually that was a wild one from. Well, it was wild because it was a vibrator, right? So, usually what you'll do is not to be too graphic. You can feel free to cut any of this off. But,
we're keeping it all in.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, you need a lot of lubricant, right?
Yeah.
And use sterile gloves. Keep everything skin clean, sterile. And then you just have to go in there and take it out.
That's how you take it out?
Yeah, in those situations. You can do
there's certain, cut them open and just.
There's certain tools that you can do because, we're ER doctors. We're not surgeons. We're not taking them to the OR when we're doing this. So, if it got in there, it's got to come out one way, right?
Yeah.
One way for it to go in and come out. So, you go in there and You attempt to try to pull it out, and when I was attempting to pull it out, being that it was a vibrator, I actually hit the vibrator button.
Oh shit!
So it's like a very quiet, it's like a quiet scene. Yeah, so all I hear is just zzz. You know, my nurse is in there helping me out, and you know we got masks on, but you know the eyes just tell everything. So I'm just like, you know, you just
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yo,
and I hit the off button. Just pulled
yeah,
it. Got it out though.
That's crazy.
And what did like the patient when that vibrator kicked on?
She was like, you know, they were like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, you know, like,
are they awake when this shit's happening?
Yeah, they're awake. You might give them some pain meds, obviously, to make them more comfortable. But this is, you know, maybe in certain situations you can give them what's called procedural sedation. So you give them enough sedation where they're not knocked out completely, where they need like a breathing tube, but enough where they probably won't feel this. But everyone's different.
Yeah.
Everybody responds differently. Most of the time, if you're able to give them sufficient analgesics, which is, you know, like pain medication, and you can just go in there and get it out. And they do pretty well. I haven't had too many.
Oh wow,
that's wild.
Bad stuff. Now, if you can't get it out, then you got to call the surgeon. Then they got to take them to the OR. Like there's one situation where somebody, crazy stuff people put up in their rectum, put a soap dispenser in their butt. So that was like like you know, like the
what?
Yeah.
It was one of those. You know, it's like, oh, did you mean to do this? Because you're curious, like, oh.
Yeah. You got to be serious when you're talking to him, right? You can't
right.
Be like,
you got, oh, did you mean to do? Because then you worry about, like, self-harm. Like, did this person try to self-harm themselves? Because that leads to a whole nother, you know, a whole other question. Like, do I need to make this person a psychiatric admission? Like, are they able to take care of themselves once we get this out and discharge? Are they going to keep doing this again? Are they trying to hurt themselves, right?
Yeah.
No, this one was, the person was very direct. And it was like, I was, you know, in the mood. And, well, I was in the mood. And that was the closest thing. And went for it. Just couldn't get it out. That vacuum effect, man. So we couldn't get that one out, and then they had to go to OR to get that out. Yeah. So
and how big was this? I'm just like I'm just thinking of this, like, yo, what? These motherfuckers got some big asses.
It was like a pear shaped, like it was big. It was impressive. You know, if it was a sport, that would have been like second place silver medal effort. For that. I've had. There was one situation. A guy, this individual was a psychiatric person and dismembered themselves during a manic episode, and so came in with their genital. And you're like, oh my god!
Is it true that if you do you're supposed to put it like on ice, and then you have like a certain amount of time? Like if I chop my finger off
with digits and things like that, yeah. So you want to, generally speaking, I'm sure there's exceptions to everything. You want to take that, wrap it in like in a sterile bag or something, and then put it on ice. You don't want to put it directly on ice. You want to like put it like in a bag and then put that bag in a container of ice, like digits and things like that.
Yeah,
that's a digit. Absolutely. You know,
Doc, tell them where to find you, bro. Tell them how they can hit you up.
Oh yeah, I'm on Instagram, Dr. Mo, Dr. Mo777. I usually post a lot of, you know, medical lifestyle as a doctor. I post some interesting cases. So I feel like if you want to do medicine or healthcare in some form or fashion, whether as a med student or as a nurse or whatever, you can find some sort of benefit from it. So yeah, check me out,
bro. Even like you'll post broken bones and you're like you'll write something like what happened here. I'm over here looking like, man,
you feel like house.
I'm like, hold on, bro. So I mean, this bone broken a little that way. I'm like, man, something happened here.
For sure. I
try to solve this shit too.
Yeah, no, I try to post cases and content that if I was a med student that I would find interesting and motivate me to continue on the journey. Because like you said, it's a lot of school, so you got to get something to motivate you.
Do you do doctor TikToks?
I don't do TikToks. I'm not big on TikTok. I think I just, man, maybe I'm just too old and not cool enough. It just a lot like
you know what I mean, though, right?
This layout and it's overwhelming me right now. So, yeah.
You know what I mean, though, right? It's like it's like all the TikToks. Like I see like a lot of nurses, doctors. It's just like
you got to be careful with that stuff too, though, because there was that big thing with the nurses that got fired because they made a TikTok talking about the things that quote unquote irk them.
Yeah,
and when they're. You know, they're talking about things that irk them, but it's like...
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's a subjective thing, right? Like, what is professionalism? Unless they give you, like, a guideline of strict rules, which they do, but then there's somewhat of a gray area, right? And so you had people on social media that were having a good time. They didn't name anyone specifically, but they were talking about the population that we serve, patients, right?
Yeah.
In a not so flattering way, and so they got fired for that.
Oh, shit.
Things that irk them, right? So, social media is when you're in the healthcare, you got to walk a fine line as far as maintaining your professionalism, even though it's on your social time. You gotta.
So you won't find him on TikTok.
No. Long story short, you won't. I'm very selective on what I post. and what platforms that I use. So
yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Give them the link for the OnlyFans too, bro.
Man, if only life were that easy, huh?
No, I feel you.
If only it was that easy.
Hey, well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Peace.